anyone can win the double-digit game, right? I'm glad they can score double digits in a run, but anybody can win that game. You can get by that game with bad pitching and mistakes and stuff like that. What I want to see is the 3-2 victory.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias, and with me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, very nice comeback win for the Yankees, huh?
Yes, and lots to discuss.
Lots and lots. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live or premiere. And hopefully we'll make sure that we have sound when we go live. If you get that reference, put something in the comments. On today's show, we'll preview the Subway Series. Yay, that's approaching. I'm just kidding. It's going to be interesting considering the dynamics and everything that happened in the offseason. Something happened with Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson. It was an announcement that was made earlier in the week, and we're going to get to discuss that in segment 2. But first, the Yankees win the rubber game against Seattle. They win the series, and they don't score a lot, but they score enough.
They scored when they needed to. First, but like side mention, biggest hit of the game was the Aaron Judge home run. But can we mention this? Is Seattle the best hitting ballpark that he has on the road? He mashes in Seattle. I feel like all of his biggest home runs are in Seattle too. He loves hitting in that ballpark.
He really does. Like I think if Seattle were in on the free agency when he was in free agency, he would probably stop and think just for a second and be like, wow, I can hit a lot of balls out of here. Because it really does seem like, and it seems like everyone that he does hit is like 420 plus, 450, 440, 480. Like, it's just crazy.
This one was more of a line drive, but this is the part that he had that 510 footer a few years ago, that hanging curveball. He just seems to mash in Seattle. So that is a really good sign. DJ LeMahieu got his first hit of the season. That was a good sign. Big thing to see, although he played second base. That was a little peculiar. But overall, winning games like this gives me confidence because anyone can win the double-digit game, right? I'm glad they can score double digits in a run, but anybody can win that game. You can get by that game with bad pitching and mistakes and stuff like that. What I want to see is the 3-2 victory. I want to see the victory, but you got to gut it out and you got to pitch. The Yankees are now 5-9 in one-run games this year. Yep. So that number needs to improve, Stacey, because in October, you're not playing a lot of double-digit games. You're playing a lot more of these games. So you got to prove to me that you can win these games.
Yeah. What you said about LeMahieu, he played second primarily in Somerset, which people thought was sort of strange, but now it kind of makes sense. I spoke about it on Wednesday's live stream. If you guys want to go back to that after you watch this, because I discussed the fact that you might actually see DJ more at second than at third.
Maybe because of the Jazz Chisholm Jr. Injury. That might have done it. It did feel like once Cabrera got injured, we all kind of like thought, oh, DJ's going to just plug into third base. It might be the reversal now just because of the Jazz injury, which we haven't had an update on in a while, by the way. And it does.
He's hitting. No, I actually do have an update. He's hitting off a tee, and they think he's actually going to make it back quicker than they thought.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's good news because I haven't heard an update put out there in a while. So I was actually becoming curious about that. Another injury update while we're on that too. Jonathan Loaizen could be back next week. They're going to pitch him both Saturday and Sunday this upcoming weekend, to see if he can go back-to-back days and how his velocity looks and how his pitches look. He's given up one run over, I think, 9 2/3 innings in the minors so far. So he's been really, really good. That'll be good to get him back. But while we stick on the topic of pitching, Stacey, this is now 2 straight starts for Will Warren where he's looked excellent. And not good, not great. He's looked unbelievable in 2 straight starts. Gave up the 2 runs in this game, but battled through that inning, got through it, and then the strikeout ball was just absolutely working. The 9 strikeouts is impressive, yes, Stacey? Mm-hmm. The 1 walk is even more impressive. This is a guy who's really struggling to not walk guys. To have 1 walk over 5 innings and 9 Ks, I mean, that's as good as we've ever seen Will Warren look.
Yeah, and at least I speak about this all the time when it comes to Will Warren. When you look at his pitching lines throughout the season, you see good things, but you also see a lot of bad things. Like he'll have a bunch of strikeouts, but then he also has 3 walks. And then you also get frustrated with him because he could have more strikeouts because there are a lot of times he gets to 0-2 and then he loses a guy. Either he walks someone or he gives up a hit or something like that happens. And I think that I'm impressed with the fact that he was able to build upon that outing that he had in Sacramento, because I was a little worried that there might be a letdown, but then the other part of me thought maybe this is a good thing now because he knows, hey, I can do this. I can string this together and put an outing together that's really good. And he did it again. And he had the sweeper was really working for him. He threw that the most. They went 0 for 2. That was the walk. He gave up a walk on a sweeper and he hit someone with a pitch with the sweeper. But his curve also really helped. He got 4 Ks on that, and they were 0 for 5 with his curveball. He only threw 13 of them. But what I do like about this, he used the sweeper, he used the 4-seamer, he used the sinker, he used the curve, and he used the change. He used all of them. And that's another thing that's good because you want someone who can throw that many pitches and actually do things with them.
And the guy that we compare his pitching motion to after last season that has an arsenal just like this, Michael King. Yep. And the Yankees, they said when they revamped Will Warren's pitching motion, it was kind of to create a clone of Michael King. And that's pretty much exactly what they did, including the pitch arsenal. And this is what made Michael King so successful, specifically out of the bullpen originally, is the arsenal of pitches. The fact that he can go 5 pitches and strike out with all 5 was what made it so impressive about Michael King. Will Warren's now doing that. And he's able to control these pitches. It's a key when these pitches are not automatic balls. If a guy can recognize a certain pitch grip out of you, your tipping pitches, and he knows a ball is coming, it's a lot easier. He can throw all these for strikes now, which is a huge benefit for Will Warren. I also love that both of these good pitching performances came on the road. Yeah. It was both a road series where he's not at home, he's not on the Yankee Stadium mound, he's not dealing with all that. This was a good chance, this road trip, for him to build his confidence up, and we can't state it enough. Guys like this are going to be important to them. They just are. Like there's not that Garrett Cole out there to go acquire this trade deadline. There isn't. No one's separating themselves. No one's going to be selling at the deadline. I guess the Marlins could be selling with Alcantara, but he hasn't exactly lit it up this year either. So yeah. I don't know who there is to go out there and get right now, but this is a big story. Will Warren pitching this way is a big story. So it's one of those where it's kind of like Rodon. When you see him start to get on a roll, except Rodon's more proven and we know he can keep that roll going. Yeah. This is more of like, all right, well, how can he build on this? Because now he's going to face Texas in his next start. A really good offensively hitting team. It's going to be Yankee Stadium. Let's see how he does in that start. If he has a third really good start in a row, do we start thinking, well, Warren can actually stick around on this team? Because he's going to be on this team regardless. Right. But it's his job right now is to stop Brian Cashman from needing to go get a pitcher this deadline.
Right. Quickly, let's discuss the offense. There wasn't much, but when it happened, it was very important. I loved Volpe and Dominguez getting the back-to-back doubles.
I love this whole road trip. This whole road trip, Dominguez has looked awesome. Now, Volpe's been really good with the bat, and I think it's been overshadowed lately, but Dominguez has been absolutely unbelievable. It's timely hitting too, Stacey, with Dominguez. Mm-hmm. He's coming through in big spots. He's not hitting balls when it doesn't matter. The power hasn't necessarily been there with Dominguez, but I got to be honest with you, I think that will come. Like the power to me is not really a concern to me with Dominguez. Like that will show up because he's big and strong enough to begin with. Mm-hmm. It's more about he's putting the ball in play, making really solid contact. I think Dominguez doesn't need to be a 40, 50 home run guy. He has the strength for it. Stacey, if he's a 25 home run guy, but he puts the ball in play like he does a lot, I'm totally fine with that. So, I've loved what I've seen out of Jason Dominguez, especially this road trip. He's been fantastic.
Because it's not only getting on base, but he's a great base runner and he's fast.
Yeah, he's tremendous. They have a lot of really bright spots so far, right? The Goldschmidt stuff, Aaron Judge hitting over 400, Dominguez, Volpe's been streaky, but right now he's playing a lot better. And I want to highlight a guy too that's not getting enough love because of all the other guys that are playing well. Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger's been really good at the plate of late, and I think it's now a 13-game hitting streak that he's on. He's been really good, and he's gotten not a lot of credit for it just because a lot of the guys are hitting around him, and he's not flashy, right? He's not putting in the crazy RBI numbers. He's not hitting a lot of home runs, but he's putting the ball in play. And again, you need guys like that come the end of the season. So I like a lot what I've seen out of Cody Bellinger.
You mentioned Goldschmidt. He comes into the game, hits a solo shot to tie it up, which is not easy to do because he was pinch hitting in that situation. Yeah.
Second career pinch hit home run for Goldschmidt.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable what he's doing. Judge with the shot that made it 3-2 was number 330 of his career. And it seems like Monday was the outlier in this series because the Yankees in Seattle normally play close games because Seattle usually has really good pitching. Their issues have always been scoring lately in the playoffs. If they make the playoffs or if they don't make the playoffs, it's because their offense isn't doing anything. And it seems like the Monday night explosion was the outlier for both teams because the past two games were one run. And one last thing before we go to segment 2. Can we talk about Luke Weaver? Because, my God. And the velocity is up, by the way.
The location on his fastball, I was just going to mention that. The velocity is up, but you can survive in this league throwing 95, 96. You don't need to throw 102. It's where you locate the 95, 96. The benefit of throwing 102 is you get away with mistakes. You can leave a ball. You can leave a ball in the middle of the plate and get away with it because it's a lot of velocity. But 95, 96, you put it where Luke Weaver puts it up in the corner. It's hard for any guy to hit that ball. So Luke Weaver has been very, very good. He struck out the side. I mean, incredible stuff out of Luke Weaver. I don't think Devin Williams is going to be closing anytime soon.
Yeah. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial, and I'm very excited because we have a new insider who's already submitted a Fan Mail Friday question. So that made my day on Wednesday, and you will hear his question. I'm so excited to answer it on Friday. Coming up, Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson reinstated? We're going to talk about all of that next.
Get the supplies you need from the site that's made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order all your products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info. It helps you get the job done right. Plus, there's a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands. You'll find exactly what you need. It'll be delivered fast, and it all goes from coast to coast. Do you need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to the right person. And for trade pros looking for that extra edge, their free TradeMaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts available on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn, guys. You can join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Guys, great news. We have an exciting new way for you to submit your Fan Mail Friday questions on YouTube. You can go over to the channel's page, scroll over to the post tab, and you'll find the post where you can leave your questions. This week's deadline is Thursday at 5 p.m. You make sure you get those questions in because you'll be featured on tomorrow's episode of Fan Mail Friday. It's right there. It's super easy and super simple. You can get involved all week. So, Stacey, interesting stuff going on in the news cycle of baseball during this week. Now, 2 days ago, it was announced that Rob Manfred would be reinstating Shoeless Joe Jackson and Pete Rose off of the banned baseball list. Now, let's start with Shoeless Joe. Shoeless Joe Jackson is one of 8 players in 1919 that were suspended from baseball for life, banned from baseball for life, for obviously the 1919 Black Sox scandal in the World Series, where the mobsters in Chicago had them throw the World Series and lose. Now, fun fact about that World Series, if you're a baseball history nerd like I am, Shoeless Joe Jackson was paid to throw the World Series and hit 385. That's how good Shoeless Joe Jackson was. the White Sox did lose that World Series in 9 games because they played 9-game series back then. And that went down in history, or in infamy, I guess. And Shoeless Joe Jackson was banned from baseball as one of the evil men of all of baseball. All 8 guys on that lineup were banned from baseball that day, or that from that day. And Shoeless Joe Jackson has been actually up for the Hall of Fame 2 times, once in the 1930s, once in the 1940s. Both times, there were 277 people that were allowed to vote on the ballot for the Hall of Fame. Stacey, take a wild guess how many voted Shoeless Joe Jackson into the Hall of Fame.
5.
2 out of the 277
Wow.
voted Shoeless Jackson in the Hall of Fame. Both writers had connections to the Chicago mob.
That's
so there's
funny.
your little connection of baseball history. If you want Shoeless Joe Jackson to be in the Hall of Fame, the morality clause doesn't necessarily help him either. Shoeless Joe Jackson, while known as being illiterate, was also a really, 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 really bad human being. There's a lot of stories you can go look up online of why Shoeless Joe Jackson is not the best dude, and certainly not someone that you want to associate yourself with. Go look it up, and it's not because of the gambling. Speaking of gambling, we move to Pete Rose, Stacey, who was banned from baseball for gambling on baseball. Now, from all credits in history, can't confirm this, but everyone seems to confirm it. Pete Rose only gambled on his team to win games, but we can't ever confirm that. This is when he was managing the Cincinnati Reds. Now, I do find it a little convoluted that baseball is now completely in bed with all gambling companies associated out there. There's advertisements for every gambling company imaginable on commercials, signs, jerseys. It's everywhere existing. Plus, we have a team currently building a stadium in Las Vegas. So baseball's certainly taken a 180 on how they feel about gambling over the years. Now, I will have you know, if you're a part of the morality clause of the Hall of Fame, Pete Rose is accused of back in the day, and it's not a pretty story. You can look that one up online if you'd like to as well. So I mention all of this why. These 2 guys being lifted from the ban list, Stacey, allows both of them to now be elected into the Hall of Fame. Now, because they both retired over 30 years ago, they would have to be elected in by something called the Eras Committee. It's not a nod to Taylor Swift's tour of the last 2 years, but it is a committee of former Major League Baseball. They're not identified who these people are, but guys who have worked in the league, media members, people who have been in the league for a really long time, and they're mostly old men. And we know how they usually fall when it comes to gambling stories, when it comes to baseball. Not too in favor of that kind of stuff. I bring this all up. There are 17 people on the committee, Stacey, and you need 75% of the vote, which means only 4 guys can say they don't think you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. If you have 5 that say you don't deserve, you don't get in. So it is no guarantee that Shoeless Joe and Pete Rose get into the Hall of Fame because of this. This news simply means that if either were alive, either could now work in baseball, and if either were alive, either could now be eligible to be voted into the Hall of Fame by the Eras Committee. I want to know what you think about both. I want to know if you have differing opinions on both. And I want to know in the comments from all of our listeners what they think as well. This is a very interesting topic, but I'm going to sit here and tell you right now, before I hear your opinion, Stacey, neither of these guys are getting in. Neither of these guys are getting voted in. And neither of these guys deserve to be in. If you want to go by morality, if you want to go by everything you hold for the sport, I get it. And I'm someone that sits on the stance of it's the Baseball Hall of Fame and it's a museum telling the history of the sport. And you really can't do that without Shoeless Joe Jackson. And you really can't do that without Pete Rose. I'll tell you this. I was born in 1997. I missed both of these guys' careers. Both of these guys were banned by the time that I was born. I know everything about Shoeless Joe Jackson and everything about Pete Rose that I need to know about. I don't need to see these guys honored in the Hall of Fame. And putting them in past their death doesn't mean a damn thing. If you don't think that I'm right on saying that, go look at the interviews of Pete Rose before he passed away. He said the exact same thing. But let me hear from you, Stacey.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them should get in. I know people are upset with the whole, well, you can't really take the personal stuff, but some of the personal stuff is really bad. So yes, I can.
This story is fascinating. I'll question this. If you're Rob Manfred, why?
Right.
Did you need to get into the news cycle more? Shohei Ohtani's on the mound pitching. Aaron Judge is hitting 400. Can't we focus on what's going on in baseball now?
But also,
There's no need to reinstate these guys.
But why now? Why at this particular moment in 2025 are you suddenly deciding to do this? After all these years, why? There's no reason.
Apparently, Pete Rose's daughter met with Rob Manfred in New York a few days ago and petitioned for this. Okay, and if she did, wonderful. It doesn't mean that you have to do something about it. I don't think Shoeless Joe Jackson's
petitioning it forever, especially with Pete Rose stuff.
Does Shoeless Joe Jackson's great grandchildren really care if he's going to get into the if he's eligible to now? And I emphasize the word eligible, Stacey. Yeah. These guys still have to get voted in, and
they're not automatically going into the Hall of Fame, because the framing of this made it seem like, oh, they're going to definitely get into the Hall of Fame now, which that's not the case. They still have to be voted in.
Because if you look at both of their numbers career-wise, they're undoubtedly Hall of Famers. There's no question in both of these players. But if you look at what they're attached to throughout history, both of these guys, what you talk about all the other sports that we follow. I'm assuming most people that watch Locked On Yankees are also fans of other sports, right? But football has been attached to gambling forever, right? And basketball has been attached, especially college basketball, has been attached to gambling forever. But the sport that has the most holier than thou when it comes to gambling attitude is baseball. It is the cardinal sin to not gamble on baseball. It is the most talked about thing. You can't touch gambling when it comes to baseball. Both of these guys broke that rule. One of them threw the World Series. One of them took money to throw a World Series. The other one bet on games that he was managing. It is and Pete Rose is less of an excuse because he knew how serious it was at that point. You can say what you want about Shoeless Joe. The mob got to him, and what the mob was going on with the mob back then, who knows? All right, whatever. I still don't think Shoeless Joe deserves to be in, and the other 7 guys on that list weren't going to be Hall of Famers regardless anyway. But the Pete Rose stuff is no excuse. It really is. So this to me is not nearly as much of a story as people are making it out to be. Again, this news breaking did not mean that either are getting into the Hall of Fame now. It just means they're eligible. And if you think 17 old men are going to vote these 2 into the Hall of Fame, I think you got another thing coming, to be honest with you.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about the Subway Series because that's happening this weekend.
Stacey, good news. Not only do we cover your team every day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. You can check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. You can get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments on the Locked On Yankees postcast. So I do want to bring this up because when it comes to Subway Series, me and you both mention all the time that the reaction is a little overblown of how much people really care about it. It's a regular series. Both of these teams really can't affect each other on a big standings level to begin with. This one's got a lot more juice than usual, though. Before we get into the pitching matchups, I think it's great the Yankees set up their 3 best pitchers to be able to pitch in this series. Clearly, it matters a little bit to the Yankees. They want to win these games. But I want to bring it up to you from this standpoint. How bad is the booing and reaction going to be to Juan Soto?
Yeah, it's going to be vociferous.
Yeah, that's a great SAT word, by the way, to use there. Now, I think Major League Baseball is a little upset, just a little ticked off that the Knicks lost Game 5 because Game 6 will be now at the Garden on Friday night. So fans are going to be switching back and forth in their TV dial and certainly paying attention. But I still think Yankee Stadium will be packed intentionally to boo Juan Soto. Yankees Mets will be a storyline for sure. They're going to want to boo Juan Soto.
But there will also be a lot of Mets fans there too. So
yeah, but generally Mets fans don't migrate to Yankee Stadium as well as Yankee fans tend to migrate to Citi Field. Usually at these games you see a lot more Yankee fans. Regardless, he's gonna get booed. And Juan Soto did make a comment the other day when asked about the series, the Subway Series, where he said, "Let's see what they've got," basically in a sense. So he's gonna see what they've got. I'm pretty sure he's going to get booed ridiculously. I mean, they're not going to stop. They're going to kill him out there. And I think he deserves it. I don't think it'll quite be as bad as Altuve, but it'll be close. he's gonna get killed out there. So I'm looking forward to it. Because he did choose to leave. He did go to I mean, he had to have known this when he made the decision, but he did choose to leave. The Yankees offered him $750 million. He still chose the other side of town. He didn't choose to go to LA. He chose the other side of town. So he's going to get booed for this. Quite crazy.
I don't want an Altuve situation, though. I don't want them to boo him and then him hit a first pitch home run.
It'll probably happen.
Rodon, but it'll probably happen. Yeah.
Especially because Rodon is susceptible to getting up early home runs, too.
And I know that people, there are some people in the camp of, well, he was only here for a year. It seems silly to be mad at him. And then there are the other people in the other camp who are like, how dare you turn down the Yankees and go to the Mets? Because that's never really happened before.
I don't think it's either.
That's a big deal.
I don't think it's either. Like the 1 year stuff to me is he still was here for a year and he took them to the World Series. And like, quite frankly, he was better in the postseason than Judge was. I mean, he had the biggest hit of the postseason. Like
a lot of people were better than
Judge
was.
True, but I mean, he had the biggest hit of the postseason, so you can't take that away from him. And while it was a year, it was a special year for the Yankees. They won the pennant last year.
No, I understand that, but the feeling of the fans are, yes, they're happy for that year, but the betrayal part of it, they feel betrayed because how dare you go from the Yankees to the Mets? That's never happened before. You've never had a free agent turn down a Yankee contract to go to the Mets and come out and say, "Oh, I wanted to be a Met." This had nothing to do with money.
That's what's going to hurt him. It's the pompous attitude afterwards of acting like, oh, the orange and blue meant so much to him.
I always wanted this. He have the best chance of winning.
It's all those little side comments, and he knows the Yankee fans pay attention. So he's going to hear it, and he knows he's going to hear it, and that's got to be fine by him. We'll see. He's picked it up a lot of late. He's really picked it up a lot of late. He's been hitting a lot better for them. So it's going to be a very interesting series. I kind of don't like that Rodon is pitching Friday night because he is so susceptible to those early home runs that it'll that first at bat is must watch.
Schmidt is too, to be fair, on Saturday. So
I would have liked Max Fried on Friday, but Max Fried will get Sunday start. Fridays will be Carlos Rodon versus Tyler McGill. Saturday will be Clark Schmidt versus Griffin Canning, and Sunday is going to be Max Fried versus David Peterson. Mets have had good pitching too. They've been really good too. So this is going to be a very interesting series because both teams have played really well. Both teams are towards the top of the standings in their divisions. This is going to be a very, very, very. This is the juiciest World Series. This is the juiciest Subway Series we've had in a long time. Definitely 10 years.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time since we've had this kind of juice going into the series. So as we record this, if they haven't won yet, which they probably have because they keep beating up on Pittsburgh.
I'm going to find it for you right now. The Mets lost 4-0 to Pittsburgh.
Oh, all right. So that's why it's 28-16. Okay. So they're 28-16. The Yankees are 25-18. So not too much of a difference between them. The Mets got off to a better start. They're both at the top of their respective divisions. The Yankees are up by 3.5 over the Blue Jays. The Mets are over the Phillies by a couple of games. And it should be interesting and annoying and every other adjective that you can think of when it comes to the Subway Series. There will be overreactions by everyone from radio pundits to the fans. It's going to be really great. Can't wait. But after 28 years of Subway Series, I've had enough.
I don't this one's juicy. This one's got a little more energy than usual. I'll admit that, but it's not as big of a deal as people try to make it out to be.
Yeah, they're not even if baseball realigned, right? Because my brother has this great idea to put the Yankees and Mets in the same division. Like you have the Yankees, the Mets, the Phillies, the Red Sox, and I think the Nationals and Orioles, and kind of keep it there. And then you do all the Atlanta, Miami, Tampa, like it's a whole. He's been thinking about doing this for years. He's had.
It's not a terrible idea. I've seen people doing this. It's not
ideas
crazy.
For literally over 20 years. He wrote into the Daily News, and his letter made the letter to the editor in the sports pages. And he wrote about this like years and years ago. So it's
Not a
not like they're
terrible
the
idea.
same division. You know, it's not the Rangers and the Islanders because they're in the same division. It's not even like the Knicks and the Nets. It's like, whatever. I mean, okay, sure. I don't know. Am I not a true fan because I don't like the Subway series? Or am
No,
I
I don't think it has anything to do with being a true fan or not. I just think
I'm just
it's
old
not.
and sick of it.
It's not as juicy as we wish it would be.
Because we're nearly 30 years into it now. Like the first
It's lost its
few
muster.
were amazing. I mean, you were a baby when they first started, but they were amazing. I went to a game at Shea in 98. Yeah, 98. So that was one of the first ones. The Yankees won that game. We were sitting behind the Yankee dugout. So we're on the visitor side. And I got really weird sunburn on my thighs because I was leaning forward because the concession guys kept blocking my view of home plate because of the way Shea was the, what do you call it? Like the tilt of the seats. I had to lean forward the entire time. And my forearms were on my thighs when I used to wear shorts, and I had stripes down the front of my legs. White stripes down the front of my legs, and the sides of my thighs were sunburned. And it stayed like that all summer because I couldn't even them out. It was great. But the Yankees won that game, and that was fun. But like, you know, within like 10 years of the Subway series, I was like, all right, can we take a break from this? Like, it's not even fun anymore. Like the novelty of it was great at the beginning. And then after maybe not 10 years, but like 15 years in, you're kind of like, all right, can we take like a 5-year break and then make it exciting again? Because it's just another series at this point. Again, Juan Soto makes it more of a series, but if Juan Soto didn't sign with the Mets and he was still with the Yankees, no one would care about this series, honestly.
Nope. It's a fan-driven thing that people kind of like contrive or force themselves to care. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not. All right, well, on that note, thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long, you get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. They actually put it up really late at night because when I'm editing the episodes past midnight, I'll watch Game Night while I'm working on some stuff, and they do a really good job. So you guys should watch it if you can. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We will catch you guys tomorrow.